I was watching something by Ali last night. Ali Frazier. So Ali was talking real big. He had just came off the 4-year layoff. He had just came off the layoff that the government imposed upon him when they sanctioned him for not going to war. And he was talking real reckless. He was talking real reckless. That was when he had the monkey come in and pose, the guy with the monkey mask, like he was Joe Frazier, and he was talking about, sparring with the monkey and how I'm going to tear up Joe Frazier. And it was the biggest fight of the century, and there was a lot of hype around it, a lot of politics around it, a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions around it. And it didn't turn out quite the way that Ali expected. There's a leadership principle here. It didn't turn out the way that Ali expected. He was talking real reckless, a lot of hype in the fight, a lot of heart, a lot of emotion, a lot of belief. And he got done filthy. He got done filthy. He thought he won on a couple rounds, but there's a couple rounds that he didn't win. So it was kind of balanced. But then Frazier knocked him down in the last round. And it was interesting because the main thing about that fight that people remember, the real boxing aficionados remember, is the style in which he brought to losing. Because he was a man of impeccable, standards and characteristics. Everybody loved his integrity, his beliefs. He stood behind what he believed in, and his words and actions were congruent. So he meant what he said, and he said what he meant. He stood by what he stood for. And that's leadership. No denying it, all around the board. And it looked good on him. He was 29-0. He had never lost a fight. And that loss characterized his championship because he came out the next night, very next night he came out, and he had a jaw. His jaw looked about 4 times the size of his normal face. And everybody was joking on him. The world wanted him to lose. He had been talking for too long. He had cleaned up everybody. He had washed up everybody that came against him very definitively. So you're going to have some hatred in leadership. You're going to have some people that don't like you, especially if you're performing at a high caliber. They're going to be like, this guy is cocky. He's arrogant. He thinks too much of himself. He needs to take a loss. He needs to suffer a loss. That's what they're going to be looking at you to do. If you're a well-talented, well-oiled leader, they're going to be looking at you to suffer some losses. And Ali took a loss, and he took it with honor and dignity. He came out the very next day, jaw was like this. And they said, why? Didn't you do anything with your jaw? He said, I was supposed to soak it, but I forgot to. I was too tired. I went to bed. And they were like, it looked like it hurt. It looked like it hurt. They making jokes on him. And he laughed at himself. That's what you have to be able to do in leadership. You have to be able to laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously, because that's going to be toxic. You're going to really hurt yourself bad if you take yourself too seriously. So Ali didn't do that. He laughed at himself. He said, yeah. He said it hurt. He said it hurt real bad. He said, for me, when you see me go down, it hit. That was a hard hit, So I want you to understand this. When you take your losses, because if your leadership sustains, if you're truly a leader, you're going to pick some fights that are very hard for you. And some of them might send you to the canvas. You prove your leadership. Leadership is proven by the way you take your losses. It's easy to be on top. It's not hard at all to stay on top and stay winning and stay getting the money. And that sounds good, looks good. Keeping the company on top and being number one in the market. But when you take your loss, the style in which you take your loss will determine the caliber, the extent, the longevity and life of your leadership. So be a real leader. And when you lose, don't cry about it.